Hi, it's your friendly ex-Muslim. Today, I have a clip of Sheikh Assim al-Hakeem talking about whether masturbation is halal or haram. You're gonna enjoy this one. Let's get into it. So let's hear what the Sheikh has to say to us.
The US, he says that he heard a da'i saying that masturbating is makruh, which means not recommended. You know that we have 5 rulings: mandatory, then recommended, then permissible, then makruh, then haram. So makruh is a degree above haram, above prohibition. But if you do it, you're not sinful. If you leave it, then you are rewarded. So he says that I heard a da'i saying so. So what's the ruling on masturbation? Akhi, masturbation is prohibited. And why do we say it's prohibited? Because our scholars, like Sheikh bin Baz, like Sheikh bin Uthaymeen, and many other contemporary scholars, great scholars of Islam, say it is prohibited. Imam Shafi'i, before them, decades ago, centuries ago, also said that it is haram, because Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Mu'minun and in Surah Al-Ma'arij, والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على ما ملكت أيمانهم إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون. So Allah says that those who protect their private parts from any illicit, prohibited sexual intercourse, unless it's with their wives and what their right hand possesses. And whoever chooses to fulfill his desire in other means, then they are the transgressors. And this brings us to...
Okay, this is actually really funny. Let's take a look at, this is the surah he's talking about. Believers are succeeded, those who do the prayer, they stay away from ill speech, they do the zakat, and they guard the private parts, except from their wives or those their right hands possess. What does that mean? Malakat aymanuhum. It means slaves. So according to the Quran, and according to this guy's interpretation and the scholarly interpretation, touching your private parts to get pleasure is forbidden and is actually haram, because you're a transgressor, you seek beyond that. But apparently, sleeping with your wife or your slave women is perfectly halal. Like, we just want to let that sink in. This guy is mad. He's trying to teach people that it's not okay to self-pleasure, even though there's ethically, morally, nothing wrong with that. And we're not talking about, we didn't even get into the topic of pornography or anything like that. We're just talking about touching yourself, which he's saying is forbidden, haram. You will be punished by Allah, but not for having sex with slaves that you own, for slavery, for like is this not like ridiculous?
Shamshad's from India's question. So we hit 2 birds with 1 stone. What kind of transgression is this? Whenever you do something that Allah has prohibited, this is a form of transgression against Allah. So this ayah, Imam Shafi'i says, is a clear cut that satisfying your sexual desires other than what Allah has permitted you to do is a form of transgression. In another hadith, and the Prophet ﷺ was addressing the youth, and he said to them, "O youth, whoever is financially capable and physically capable of getting married, then he should get married, because this helps him to lower his gaze and protect his chastity. So this is.
So it's interesting because you would think that the reason for laws against fornication and adultery are because you don't want, let's say illicit children, meaning children born out of wedlock. You want to make sure that both parents are involved, that there's two parents, and there's some sort of partnership agreement between them, right? Because we're talking about, this is before there was modern laws of child support and stuff like that. So that's understandable. But what is not understandable is why there would be a problem with masturbation. How, who's getting hurt here? How is this, protecting your chastity? Why is Allah being upset or angry or hurt or transgressed against? Who's being harmed here? Nobody. Literally nobody is being harmed, but it's still considered like a sin. This is a problem with religious morality. It's all about dogma. It's all about, and I mean, let's be honest. The point is to force people into situations that they will increase the religious numbers, increase the population of the religion, of the religious following, and have more babies and grow the ummah. It's not about right and wrong per se. It's about the goals of the leader of this religion.
Natural channel. Okay.
How is that not natural? I mean, natural channel is not natural. Like touching yourself is not natural. Okay, yeah, right. But yeah, I don't know what else is more natural than that. It's natural.
Prophet of Allah, I can't afford to get married. What should I do? I'm still suffering. I cannot lower my gaze and I cannot preserve my chastity, meaning that I can't get married. What to do? Did the Prophet ﷺ say, go and masturbate?
Did he just say that? Is he even allowed to say that? Did the Prophet say, go and masturbate? Go and jack off? What? I wasn't expecting him to say that. I gotta tell you that.
Because this is degree number 2, level 2. Never. He told them, whoever is unable to afford it, then he should fast. This would be to him a blockage of his sexual desire.
So fasting is a so-called blocker. That's what he's saying. I don't get Prophet Muhammad's so-called Prophet Muhammad's logic here. When I used to fast in Ramadan, I still had sexual desires. When the Muslim Ummah was ordered not to have sex in Ramadan, the Quran came and said, you guys transgressed and you sinned and you had sex with your wives in Ramadan. During the night, of course, right? And so therefore, Allah decided it's okay now. So how did fasting stop those husbands? Why didn't fasting stop those husbands from sleeping with their wives? This is a complete non sequitur. Oh, just fast. You can't afford to get married? Fast. Or, of course, have slaves, right? Oh, that's another option that wasn't mentioned in this hadith.
So now you compare apple to apple. The scholar said it's haram. Imam Shafi'i said it's haram. The Prophet directed us, ﷺ, to fast, and never ever he agreed or permitted the companions to masturbate. So if you do the math, you certainly know and understand that this is prohibited.
If you do the math, is there math there to be done? Okay, so this was a pretty funny video. It was funny and it's sad and it's this ridiculous, and it shows you, I think this 4-minute video shows you the absurdity of religious morality, of Islamic morality, of trying to use dogma to try to know what's right and wrong. It's at the end of the day, it's all about serving God, so-called God, and about submitting to God. It's not about logic, it's not about reason, it's not about right, it's not about right and wrong. It's about complying to the orders blindly, whether they make sense or don't make sense. It's the biggest, isn't that just so ridiculous? That it's totally halal to have sex with your slave, but it's not okay to play with yourself. It just shows you consent was not on the minds of these men who made these religions. In fact, anyone that sees that the Quran allows you to have sex with your slave should understand that this is not from God. This is not just, this is not fair, this is not right. And to bring this up, it just makes it so much more obvious. Girlfriend, haram. Masturbation, haram. Dating, haram. Sex slavery, totally halal. Totally permissible. Totally okay. Consent, where's the idea of consent? Where's the idea of people's boundaries? The slave should have her own rights. To make it even more ridiculous, many scholars say that a female cannot sleep with her male slave. Only the men are allowed this benefit. So anyways, that's all I have for today. This is obviously like such a ridiculous video, but it was worth showing you and highlighting like how strange and absurd and ridiculous it is, and how it's not meant for the modern world. It's not meant for humanity. It's meant for 7th century Arabs that Muhammad's clan that he wanted to convince to fight and die for him. That's why he has this like sex slavery condition in there. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you're new here, please do subscribe, thumbs up the video, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this topic, this R-rated topic. And of course, if you can afford to join the Patreon or join the channel, click on join now below. It'd be most appreciated. Thank you so much. This is your friendly ex-Muslim Abdullah Samir signing out.